Marcus Hale's Sunday routine ran on timestamps. 6:47 a.m., walk the perimeter of his Connecticut property, exactly 1.3 miles, no deviation. 11:32 a.m., coffee, 2 cups, standing at the kitchen counter while reading market reports he no longer traded on. 8:15 a.m., toast, eaten in 4 bites. Plate rinsed and placed in the dishwasher before the crumbs could settle. The house was large. 5 bedrooms, none used. A living room with furniture arranged for function, couch facing away from the window. Reading chair angled toward nothing in particular. No photographs. No art that wasn't there when he bought the place 8 years ago. The walls were the color they'd been painted by the previous owner. Beige that looked different depending on the light but never looked good. He checked his phone twice before noon, even though no one had his number except his accountant, who only called in April, and his attorney, who hadn't needed to call in 6 years. At 11:07 a.m., Marcus noticed the child. She sat on his porch steps, backpack beside her, reading a library book with a dragon on the cover. She wore sneakers with untied laces and a t-shirt that said Ocean City, even though they were 3 hours from any ocean. Her legs swung slightly, not fidgeting, just occupying time. Marcus watched from the kitchen window for 6 minutes. The child didn't knock, didn't look around. Just read. He wiped the counter even though nothing had spilled. At 11:13 a.m., he went outside. The child looked up. She was maybe 8, maybe 9. Brown hair pulled into a ponytail that was already coming loose. "Are you lost?" Marcus asked. "No. My mom's working. I'm supposed to wait at the rental house, but the door's locked." "Where's the rental house?" She pointed. 400 yards across an open field, a gray 2-story with peeling paint and a summer rentals sign Marcus had stopped noticing years ago. "How long is your mother working?" The child shrugged. "She's a nurse. Hospice. It depends." Marcus looked toward the rental house. Back at the child. "Do you have a phone number for her?" She said not to call unless it's an emergency. "Is this an emergency?" The child considered. "No." Marcus stood 3 steps above her. The child sat with her knees pulled up, picking at a loose thread on her shoelace, not looking at him, but aware he was still there. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lily." He didn't offer his name. She didn't ask. Marcus pulled out his phone, called the number on the rental sign, voicemail. He tried the rental office, closed until Monday. He looked at Lily. "When does your mother's shift end?" "Later." How much later?" "I don't know. She said she'd come get me." The math was simple. Send an 8-year-old back to wait alone at a locked house, or allow her to stay here. The first option made him someone who sent children away. The second made him someone who allowed intrusions. He couldn't articulate a moral reason for the first that didn't sound cruel. He opened the door, said nothing. Lily stood, picked up her backpack, and walked past him into the house. She sat on the couch, reopened her book. Marcus stood in the kitchen, reorganizing a drawer that was already organized. 20 minutes passed. The house had never been this quiet with another person in it. "You have a really quiet house," Lily said. Marcus didn't respond. "Do you live alone?" "Yes." "Why don't you have pictures?" Marcus straightened a stack of mail that didn't need straightening. The question sat in the air between them like something physical. Lily returned to her book. Marcus opened the refrigerator, stared inside without taking anything, closed it. Lily watched this, but said nothing. At 4:03 p.m., a car pulled into his driveway. A woman got out, mid-30s, wearing scrubs, moving with the specific exhaustion of someone who'd been on their feet for 8 hours. She knocked. Marcus opened the door. "I'm so sorry," the woman said. Lily was supposed to wait at the house, but the landlord, "I'm Elena. I should have left a note or something. I didn't think, thank you for, it's fine." Elena looked past him at Lily, who was gathering her things. "We won't bother you again." Marcus said nothing. Elena took Lily's hand. They walked to the car. Lily waved from the window as they pulled away. Marcus closed the door, locked it, stood in the living room. The couch cushion still had an impression where Lily had sat. He went to his desk, tried to work, gave up after 20 minutes. At 6:30 p.m., he ate dinner standing at the counter. Grilled chicken, steamed broccoli, no salt. At 8:15 p.m., he checked his email even though no one would have sent anything. At 9:47 p.m., he went to bed. At 10:23 p.m., he got up, walked to the living room, looked at the couch. The impression was gone. The next morning, at 10:34 a.m., Lily was back on his porch steps, same backpack, same book. Marcus opened the door. She looked up. "Mom said I could come back if you don't mind." Marcus said nothing. Lily stood, walked past him into the house, sat in the same spot on the couch. The routine had begun. Day 3. Lily arrived at 10:41 a.m. without knocking. Marcus was in his study reviewing a contract for consulting work he didn't need. A company in Boston wanted his opinion on acquisition targets, paid him $50,000 to spend 2 days reading spreadsheets and writing a memo no one would implement. Lily sat on the porch with her book. Marcus brought her a glass of water, set it down without speaking, went back inside. An hour later, the glass was empty, rinsed, placed carefully on the porch railing. Marcus retrieved it after she left, washed it immediately, put it in a different cabinet than his own glasses. Day 5. Rain. Lily knocked at 10:17 a.m. "Can I read inside? It's wet out here." Marcus nodded. She came in, sat on the couch. He worked at his desk. She read. 43 minutes of silence. Lily pulled a sandwich from her backpack. Peanut butter, cut into triangles, broke it in half, walked over and placed half on his desk without asking. Marcus stared at it. The sandwich was slightly crushed, wrapped in a paper towel that was starting to soak through. This was the first unsolicited food he'd accepted from another person in 8 years. If he ate it, he was participating in something that resembled care. If he refused, he was insulting a child's gesture. He ate it. Lily watched him take the first bite, then returned to the couch, satisfied. Marcus chewed slowly, mechanically, tasting nothing. Day 6. Elena picked Lily up at 4:47 p.m., stayed on the porch. She looked more tired than the first day. Her scrubs had a small stain near the collar, coffee probably, spilled hours ago. "I know this is asking a lot," Elena said. "The rental was supposed to have childcare options, but the program ended, and it's fine. I'm here anyway." And the lie landed cleanly. He was here, but that didn't mean he was available. "Lily says you're very quiet." She's not wrong." Elena almost smiled. "I'm working doubles the next few days. If that's... It's fine." She left. Marcus realized she still didn't know his name. He hadn't offered it. This anonymity felt protective, also dishonest. Day 7. Lily, reading on the couch, said without looking up, "My dad doesn't live with us anymore." Marcus's pen stopped mid-signature on a document that didn't matter. Silence. "He left when I was 5. Mom says it's not my fault, but I don't know." Marcus gripped his pen too tightly. He recognized this script. A child interpreting adult abandonment as personal failure. He knew this language because he'd written it for his own daughter 16 years ago when he chose a merger over her college graduation. The urge to say, "It wasn't your fault," rose in his throat and died there. He had no moral authority to comfort someone else's abandoned child. He opened his mouth, closed it. Looked back at his screen. Lily didn't push. She turned a page. At 4:52 p.m., Lily was leaving. She stopped in the doorway. "Do you have kids?" "No." Lily looked at him for 3 seconds, too long for a child, then said, "Oh, you seem like you would." She walked to Elena's car before he could respond. That night, Marcus stood at his kitchen window at 10:34 p.m., looking toward the rental house. Most of the lights were off. One window, second floor, probably Lily's room, still glowed. He turned away, checked his email. Nothing. At 11:47 p.m., he tried to sleep and couldn't. Day 10. Lily arrived at 10:29 a.m. and said, "Good morning, Mr. Marcus." Not Mr. Hale, not Sir, Mr. Marcus. Familiar but respectful. Marcus froze. No one had called him by his first name with affection in years. Business associates used Marcus as a power move, a way of establishing they weren't intimidated. His daughter stopped using Dad the day he missed her graduation. She'd called once after that, 3 weeks later, from a number he didn't recognize. He'd seen unknown caller and declined it. She never called again. He didn't correct Lily. Correction would require explanation. He nodded once. Lily took this as acceptance. Later that morning, Marcus cleaned his study, found an old folder buried in a drawer he hadn't opened since moving here. Hannah's college acceptance letter, MIT, full scholarship. She hadn't needed his money, just his presence at the ceremony. He remembered. Standing in his office in Manhattan, phone in hand, flight confirmation on the screen, his business partner, Patricia, saying, "If you're not in that meeting, we lose the merger." And he'd chosen the meeting. The merger closed successfully, $83 million in profit. Patricia sent champagne to his office. He drank none of it. Hannah called once afterward. He'd been in another meeting, saw her name, sent it to voicemail, told himself he'd call back later. He didn't. Marcus held the acceptance letter, set it down, picked it up, folded it precisely along old creases, placed it back in the drawer, closed the drawer, opened it again, stood there counting to 10, closed it, left the room. At 2:17 p.m., Lily appeared in his study holding a small wooden bird. It was carved, simple, painted blue, with one wing broken off. "Can you fix it?" Marcus examined it. The bird was designed to spin on a base, a wooden dowel through the center. The wing had snapped at the attachment point. The repair was simple. Wood glue, a new dowel pin. 20 minutes in his garage workshop he hadn't used in 6 years. If he fixed it, he was accepting a role. The person who solves problems, who helps, who stays. If he refused, he confirmed what he believed about himself. "I can try." In the garage, Lily sat beside him at the workbench, legs swinging, saying nothing. Marcus felt the proximity like heat, Didn't move away. He sanded the broken edge, applied glue, clamped it. While they waited for it to dry, Lily traced patterns in sawdust on the bench. "Where'd you get this?" Marcus asked. "Yard sale. It was broken already, but I liked it." "Why?" "I don't know. It looked like it used to be someone's favorite thing." Marcus said nothing. 15 minutes later, the glue was set. He tested the wing. It spun. Lily's face split into a smile that made Marcus look away. Elena arrived at 5:03 p.m., saw Lily holding the repaired bird, spinning it. "You fixed that?" "It wasn't complicated. Still, thank you." Pause. "I'm working a double tomorrow. Would it be—" "She can come." Elena's relief was visible. A tension leaving her shoulders she didn't know she'd been holding. She had no idea she was trusting a man who'd abandoned his own child. Marcus felt the weight of her misplaced faith like something physical sitting on his chest. Lily, walking to the car, turned. "See you tomorrow, Mr. Marcus." Not a question. An expectation. Marcus stood in his driveway after they left. The wooden bird had sat on his workbench for 15 minutes before he remembered to give it to Lily. He'd kept working, adjusting clamps, organizing tools, as though she'd still be there. That night, he didn't sleep until 2:34 a.m., 3 weeks in. The routine had become invisible infrastructure. Lily arrived between 10:30 and 11 o'clock a.m. They ate lunch together, not together at the same table, in near silence. Lily left around 4 p.m., unless Elena was working late, in which case Lily stayed until 7, once until 8:30. Marcus never complained about extended hours. Elena stopped apologizing around day 16. Things had shifted without announcement. Lily now sat in Marcus's reading chair, the leather one by the window he'd bought 8 years ago and used exactly twice. She didn't ask permission. He didn't tell her to move. She used the same glass every day. Marcus stopped washing it with the others. Kept it separate, on the counter, ready. She left drawings on the table. He hadn't thrown any away. She stopped explaining why she was there. She was just there. Day 22, Marcus at the grocery store. His cart, coffee bread, eggs, chicken breast, broccoli, carrots, the same items he'd bought every week for 8 years. He stopped in the juice aisle, stared at apple juice boxes, the kind Lily drank. He didn't need them. She brought her own lunch. Buying them meant expectation, meant wanting her to stay longer, meant providing, which meant responsibility, which meant family. He bought 2 packs. At checkout, he placed them on the conveyor last, as though they were afterthoughts. The cashier, Mrs. Brennan, who'd checked him out every week for 8 years and never once seen him deviate from his list, noticed, but said nothing. Next day, Lily opened the refrigerator for water, saw the juice boxes, paused, took one, didn't comment, but she stayed 17 minutes longer than usual. Started talking more, about the book she was reading, about a bird she'd seen with red wings, about nothing important. Marcus realized the juice boxes were permission. Permission to stay. Permission to belong. He felt sick with how much he'd wanted her to notice. Day 24. Elena's shift ended early. She knocked instead of texting. Marcus offered coffee, a reflex he didn't know he still had. They sat at his kitchen table. Lily colored in the other room. He'd bought crayons on day 19 without being asked. "I don't know how to thank you for this," Elena said. "You don't need to." "Most people wouldn't." She trailed off. Silence, not uncomfortable. "Lily talks about you. She says you're safe quiet." Elena smiled. Didn't know there were different kinds of quiet. Marcus didn't respond. "Are you from around here?" "No, I moved here about 8 years ago." Elena waited for more. Marcus gripped his coffee mug with both hands even though it wasn't hot. She noticed, but misread it as shyness. "What did you do before you retired?" "I consulted. Finance." Both true, both incomplete. Elena didn't push. She finished her coffee, gathered Lily. At the door, she turned. "Thank you, really." After they left, Marcus found a drawing Lily had abandoned. 3 stick figures in front of a house. No labels, no names. He stared at it for 6 minutes. Didn't know who the figures were supposed to be. Didn't know if he was allowed to assume. He put it on the refrigerator, the first decorative object in his house in 8 years. At 11:43 p.m., he stood in his dark kitchen looking at it. Day 27. Elena arrived at 2:14 p.m. Unusual. Her eyes were red. Lily sensed adult tension immediately. Went quiet on the couch. Elena stood in Marcus's kitchen, hands shaking slightly. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't just show up, but what happened?" "Patient died this morning." "Expected, but the family they're blaming me, saying I didn't do enough, that I was negligent, that—" Her voice cracked. One sob escaped before she suppressed it. She turned away. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't—" "You don't need to apologize." Marcus stood frozen, hands at his sides. He didn't know how to offer comfort without it seeming transactional. He'd forgotten how to touch another person without calculation behind it. Elena wiped her face. Professional mask reassembling. Lily saw me cry. I hate that. She knows you're human. Elena looked at him, surprised he'd spoken a full sentence unprompted. Lily walked into the kitchen. Didn't ask questions. Took her mother's hand. Took Marcus's hand. Stood between them. Can we stay a little longer? Not, is Mom okay? Not, what's wrong? Just, can we stay? Marcus felt the weight of her small hand in his. He wanted them to stay. Not out of duty. Because their presence had become the only thing that made this house feel less like a structure he occupied, and more like a place he lived. This terrified him. We should go, Elena said. I've imposed enough. You haven't, Marcus said. Elena looked at him. He didn't look away. She stayed. They ordered food, Chinese, from a place in town Marcus had never tried. Lily chose. They ate at his table. First meal he'd shared with other people in this house. Ever. Conversation was sparse. Lily talked about her book. Elena asked if he'd always lived alone. Marcus said yes. Didn't explain why. After dinner, Lily fell asleep on the couch. Elena didn't wake her immediately. They sat in the living room, near silence. Marcus in the chair. Elena on the other end of the couch, her daughter's feet in her lap. Thank you for this. You keep thanking me. Because you keep helping. Marcus didn't respond. How could he explain their presence was the help? Elena's head tilted back against the couch. She was asleep within 3 minutes. Marcus sat across from them. Watched two people sleep in his house. Didn't move for 47 minutes. When Elena woke, disoriented, she apologized again. Carried sleeping Lily to the car. Before leaving, she really likes you. Marcus said nothing. After they left, he returned to the living room. The couch cushions still had impressions. The table still had 3 plates. He sat in the silence. It was different now. Not peaceful, empty. Day 29, morning mail. Marcus sorted through bills, advertisements, a reminder from his accountant about quarterly taxes. Then, a cream envelope. Expensive stationery, his name and address in elegant script. He opened it. Hannah Margaret Hale requests the honor of your presence at her marriage to Christopher James Morrison, 6 weeks from Saturday. Boston. Hotel ballroom, his daughter, getting married. The invitation was addressed correctly. She knew where he lived. But the tone was formal, distant. This wasn't reconciliation. This was a courtesy extended to a legal parent, not an emotional one. RSVP card included, accepts with pleasure or declines with regret. Marcus set the invitation on the counter, walked away, returned, picked it up, set it down, left the room. At 11:23 a.m., he sat in his study, unable to work. The invitation triggered everything. Hannah's graduation, him in a conference room in Manhattan, Patricia presenting merger terms, his phone ringing, Hannah's name on screen, him declining the call, the merger closing successfully, Patricia opening champagne. Hannah's voicemail he never returned. I waited for you. I thought you'd come anyway. He'd told himself there'd be time later, that she'd understand eventually. That work was more important because it was quantifiable, and relationships weren't. 16 years, no contact. Now, a child who didn't know his failures offered him exactly what he'd denied his daughter. Lily's trust was theft. He was accepting love under false pretenses. If Elena knew who he was, the CEO whose scandals made Bloomberg headlines, the father who didn't show up, the man who chose money over his only child, she would never allow this. The right thing was to end it before they discovered what he was. Day 30. Lily arrived at 10:51 a.m. Marcus stayed in his study, didn't come out. She knocked on the doorframe. Mr. Marcus? I'm working. Oh, okay. She sat on the porch. He watched from the window. After an hour, she left. Day 31. Lily knocked. Marcus opened the door, but didn't step aside. I have a lot of work today. I can be quiet. I know, but I need to focus. Lily's face changed. Not hurt, confused. Did I do something wrong? The question landed like a physical blow. No. Then why are you different? Marcus had no answer that wasn't the truth. And the truth was, you're making me feel like I deserve this. And I don't. You should probably stop coming here. Silence. Lily stared at him, waiting for explanation. Her hand tightened around her backpack strap. She nodded once, a learned response, and turned. Marcus watched from the window, didn't call her back. That evening, his phone buzzed. Elena, did something happen? Lily won't talk to me. He didn't reply. He sat at his table. The drawing of 3 people was still on the refrigerator. He didn't take it down. Didn't look at it. Hannah's wedding invitation sat beside him, unanswered. At 2:47 a.m., he was still awake. Day 33, Lily didn't come. Marcus told himself this was correct, safer, she'd be fine. Elena would find other arrangements. They'd forget about the quiet man who lived alone and said very little. He returned to routine, 6:47 a.m., walk, toast standing, coffee half consumed, counter wiped after every use. But the silence was different. It wasn't controlled exile, it was loss. Day 34. Marcus bought groceries. His cart, the old list, coffee, bread, eggs, chicken, broccoli. He stopped at the juice aisle, stared at the apple juice boxes, bought 2 packs anyway. At home, he put them in the refrigerator. They sat next to the unopened packs from 2 weeks ago. Day 35. Marcus stood at his kitchen window at 10:34 a.m., Lily's arrival time. She didn't come. He stood there for 9 minutes before returning to his desk. The glass Lily used sat in its separate cabinet, unused. Her chair remained empty. The drawing stayed on the refrigerator. Day 37. Marcus drove past the rental house, noticed a car he didn't recognize. Later at the hardware store, he ran into the rental owner, Mr. Chen, who he'd spoken to exactly 3 times in 8 years. "Renters cleared out," Chen said. "Lease ended yesterday. Nice lady, nurse, I think, had a daughter." Marcus absorbed this standing in the parking lot, holding a package of light bulbs he didn't need. They were gone. That night, he searched Elena Morrison, hospice nurse, Connecticut complaint, and found it in 11 minutes. Formal ethics complaint filed by the family of deceased patient Gloria Hartwell. Allegations, negligence, improper end-of-life care protocols, emotional manipulation of patient. Under investigation by the state nursing board. The family was connected, old money, 3 attorneys listed on the complaint. Elena had no legal representation. Hearing scheduled, 9 days from now. Marcus read the complaint twice. The allegations were vague, procedural, designed to destroy a career through bureaucracy rather than evidence. He had resources, knew people who knew people, could make calls, ensure fairness, but intervening meant revealing who he was, meant risking Elena's anger, meant admitting he wanted them in his life. He closed the laptop. Day 38, didn't sleep, stood at windows. The house felt larger than before, not peaceful, hollow. Day 39, opened refrigerator, stared at juice boxes, closed it. Day 40, picked up phone, typed, "I'm sorry," deleted it. Day 41, sat in Lily's chair, realized he'd never sat there before. Day 42, took the drawing off the refrigerator, folded it, put it in his desk drawer beside Hannah's college letter. That afternoon, he drove to the motel 2 towns over. Found Elena's car in the lot. Chen had mentioned they'd relocated temporarily, and there were only 3 budget motels within 20 miles, parked 3 blocks away. Through a second-floor window, Lily on a bed, reading. Elena pacing, phone to ear, arguing with someone. Lily looked toward the window. Didn't see him. Marcus drove home. Hannah's wedding invitation sat on his counter. Unanswered. 4 weeks away. He opened his desk drawer. 2 pieces of paper, invitation and drawing, laid them side by side. How many people did he have to lose before he stopped choosing fear? Day 43, Marcus sat at his desk, phone in hand. He'd found the contact at 3:47 a.m. when he finally admitted he wasn't going to sleep. Lawrence Chen, former colleague, now partner at a healthcare law firm in Hartford. They'd worked together 12 years ago, parted on professional but cold terms after Marcus left corporate life without explanation. Chen owed him nothing. Marcus dialed, hung up before it rang, dialed again, let it ring. "Marcus Hale," under Chen's voice, surprised. "I thought you were dead." "Not yet." "What do you need?" Marcus explained. Ethics complaint, hospice nurse, procedural concerns, family weaponizing the system, silence. Then, "Why do you care?" The truth, "Because I need to be someone who shows up." What he said, "She doesn't deserve this." "And you know her how?" "She's a neighbor, she has a daughter." More silence. Chen reading between the words. "I'll look into it, no promises. And Marcus, this doesn't clear any debts between us." "I know." After the call, Marcus sat motionless, hands flat on the desk, breathing deliberately. Then he opened his laptop, began typing. To Hannah. The letter took 1 hour and 43 minutes. "Hannah, I received your invitation. I don't know if you want me there or if you sent it out of obligation. Either way, I need to say this. I was wrong. I chose wrong. I told myself work mattered more because it was easier to control than relationships. I told myself you'd understand eventually. You were 22. I thought there'd be time to fix it later. There's no excuse. I wasn't a father when you needed one. I wasn't present. I wasn't there. I don't know if you'll let me try to be different now. I don't know if I've lost that chance permanently. But I'm asking anyway. If you'll allow it, I'd like to attend your wedding. Not as a gesture. As a start. I understand if the answer's no." Dad. He read it 17 times. Changed Dad to Marcus. Changed it back. Hovered over send for 4 minutes. Sent it at 11:52 p.m. Day 47. Chen called. Complaint dismissed. Procedural errors in the filing. statute of limitations issues, improper documentation, conflict of interest from the family's attorney who's also executor of the estate. It wouldn't have survived appeal anyway. Did she know you were involved? No. I contacted the board directly, cited regulatory precedent. Her name's clear. Thank you. You going soft in exile, Marcus? Maybe. Good. You were ruthless when I knew you. I didn't like you much. I didn't like me much either. Marcus hung up, sat in the silence. The hearing was resolved. Elena's career was safe, but she didn't know he'd helped. Didn't know who he was. He had one move left. Show up, be present, risk everything. He got in his car, drove to the motel, parked in the lot at 4:37 p.m. Through the window, Lily reading. Elena at her laptop, probably checking email about the dismissal. Marcus sat in his car, hand on the door handle. Didn't open it. Lily looked up from her book. Turned toward the window. Saw him. Lily ran outside. Didn't ask why he was there. Didn't ask why he'd told her to stop coming. Didn't ask why he'd disappeared. She just said, "You came." I did. Are you staying? The question beneath the question, will you leave again? Marcus knelt. First time he'd done this. I'm staying. Lily hugged him. Marcus froze. He hadn't been hugged in 16 years. His hands hovered at his sides for 3 seconds before returning the embrace. Elena appeared in the doorway, saw them. Her expression shifted through confusion, wariness, something else. Lily, go inside for a minute. Lily hesitated. Marcus nodded. She went. Elena walked down the exterior stairs, stopped 3 feet from Marcus. They stood in the motel parking lot. A car pulled in 2 spaces over. Someone checked in at the office. The complaint was dismissed, Elena said. I got the call this morning. I know. How do you know? I made a call. To someone who knows healthcare law. Elena's jaw tightened. Processing. Why? Because you didn't deserve it. That's not an answer. Marcus met her eyes. He could evade again, maintain distance, keep his past buried, or tell the truth. My name is Marcus Hale. If you search for me, you'll find articles about corporate scandals, about ruthless business practices, about a man who abandoned his daughter 16 years ago. Elena didn't move. I know who you are. I looked you up after the hearing, after I realized the timing wasn't coincidence. Silence. Why didn't you tell me? Her voice was level, not angry, not yet. Because I didn't think I deserved to be around her, around you. I thought if you knew, you'd leave. So you made the choice for me. Yes. That's what you did to your daughter, isn't it? The truth landed. Marcus didn't defend himself. Yes. Elena crossed her arms, not defensively, thinking, why are you here now? Because I don't want to make the same mistake twice. Because I want to be here, if you'll allow it. That's not a guarantee. I know. I have a daughter. If you're in her life, you don't get to leave when it gets hard. I understand. Do you? The hardest question. Marcus held her gaze. I'm asking for the chance to prove it. Lily appeared in the doorway again, ignoring instructions. Are you fighting? We're talking. Lily walked over, took Marcus's hand, took Elena's hand, stood between them like she had in his kitchen 4 weeks ago. Can we go home now, Elena? Lily, we don't... Mr. Marcus's house. That's home. And the child named what the adults couldn't. Elena looked at Marcus. He didn't look away. I need time, Elena said. To trust this, to trust you. I'll be there. You say that now. I'll be there. No declarations, no promises beyond presence. Elena. Okay, we'll try. 2 weeks later, Marcus's kitchen, 7:23 a.m. Lily at the table, with homework spread across the surface. She'd started 3rd grade 2 days ago. Elena pouring coffee. Marcus making toast. 3 drawings on the refrigerator now. Juice boxes restocked. The chair by the window was Lily's. Everyone knew it. No one said it. Mr. Marcus, can you help with my math later? Yes. Elena, watching over her coffee. You're sure about this? Yes. Her hand rested briefly on his shoulder as she passed to the sink. First physical contact she'd initiated. Marcus didn't move, didn't speak, just accepted it. On the counter, Hannah's wedding RSVP, filled out. Accepts with pleasure. Will attend with family. Lily saw it while getting a glass. Read it slowly. Who's Hannah? My daughter. You have a daughter? Yes. I'm hoping she'll let me try to be her father again. Lily thought about this. She will. How do you know? Because you're here. Marcus had no response to that. At 8:47 a.m., Elena left for her shift, kissed Lily's head, touched Marcus's shoulder again, brief, comfortable. Lily finished her cereal, started her homework without being asked. Marcus sat across from her with his coffee. The house wasn't quiet anymore. Footsteps overhead, Elena getting ready, Lily humming while she worked, the refrigerator cycling on, morning light through windows he used to keep curtained. His phone buzzed. Email notification from Hannah Hale Morrison. Subject, your message. He stared at it, didn't open it. Not yet. Lily looked up. Who's that? My daughter. Is it good news? I don't know yet. Lily returned to her homework. Marcus set his phone down. Whatever Hannah's response was, it didn't change what was in front of him right now. A child doing homework at his table. A woman upstairs who'd chosen to trust him despite every reason not to. A house that no longer felt like exile. He'd spent 16 years believing forgiveness required perfect penance. That mistakes were permanent disqualifications. That some things couldn't be undone. Lily had taught him something simpler. Showing up was enough. Staying was enough. Being present, even when it was uncomfortable, even when you believed you didn't deserve it, that was enough. He opened the email. Dad, I got your letter. I'm still processing it. I don't know if I'm ready to forgive everything yet, but I'd like you to come to the wedding. Chris wants to meet you. We can talk then. I'm glad you're trying. Hannah, not forgiveness, not absolution, just I'm glad you're trying. Marcus read it twice, set his phone down. Lily, good news? Yes. See, I told you. She went back to her math. Marcus finished his coffee, watched her work. At 9:14 a.m., the doorbell rang. Marcus answered, Mrs. Brennan from the grocery store, holding a casserole dish. Heard you have a family now, she said. Thought you might need this. Marcus took the dish. Thank you. And about time this house had some life in it. She left before he could respond. Marcus returned to the kitchen, set the casserole on the counter. Lily looked up. What's that? Dinner, apparently. From who? A neighbor. Lily smiled. People are nice. Sometimes. At 4:17 p.m., Elena came home early, found Marcus and Lily in the backyard. He was teaching her how to identify birds, something he'd learned as a child, and forgotten until she asked. Elena stood at the back door, watching. Marcus saw her, stood. How was work? Good. Tiring. She looked at Lily, then back at Marcus. Thank you for being here. I'm not going anywhere. She believed him. He could see it. That night, after Lily was asleep in the guest room that had become hers without announcement, Marcus and Elena sat in the living room, not talking, just existing in the same space. I'm scared, Elena said quietly. Of what? That this will end. That you'll realize it's too much. That we're too much. Marcus thought about this. About Hannah's email. About Lily asking him for help with math. About the casserole from Mrs. Brennan. About all the ways people had given him chances he didn't deserve. I'm scared too, he said. But I'm staying anyway. Elena nodded. They sat in silence. At 10:52 p.m., Marcus walked through his house before bed, checked the locks, turned off lights, looked in on Lily, asleep with a book still open beside her, stood in his kitchen. 3 drawings on the refrigerator, dishes in the sink from dinner, Elena's jacket on the back of a chair, evidence of life, of family, of belonging he hadn't earned but was learning to accept. He didn't deserve forgiveness. Maybe he never would. But he was here, present, staying, and for now that was enough.